Hello and welcome back, guys. This is Mr. Siege. Now, this is a video I've been planning on doing for quite a while and never got round to it. But it's basically a guide of how to start off in Rise of Kingdoms to become a siege main like myself. I'll show you what I would do now if I was going to start all over again, how I would get to where I am now. One of the best siege mains in Rise of Kingdoms. Possibly not. I'll just call myself that anyway, though. So, guys, yeah, stick around to the end of the video. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to stick a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So, if I were to start Rise of Kingdoms right now, I would do my best to save up as many things as possible for the late game when you're going to get to Season of Conquest. Although Siege is very, very different to the other troop types in the way that you don't get engineering commanders until later in the game. And I will get onto that and discuss that soon. But first of all, in the early game, what would I do to avoid using like your gold sculptures, universal gold heads, and your materials like what you'd use for crafting weapons, etc. These gold heads are really valuable. And if you're going to max two commanders fully, you're going to need around 1,400 sculptures, slightly less, depending if you're going to spend gems on the Wheel of Fortune. You will get some engineering commanders through events, but you'll only get like 40 or 50 heads, maybe. So you will have to invest a certain amount of these golden sculptures into your commanders. Legendary commanders will also require stars, these gold stars. Again, quite hard to obtain. So you will want to be saving these up also. If you're just starting Rise of Kingdoms, I've got a couple of suggestions for you. First of all, you want to find a kingdom that basically you're going to get on well with. Like, you may get into a kingdom and you may not like the people or the best alliance that's actually in the kingdom, maybe full of people you're not really that keen on. Then's the time to say, oh, maybe I need to start again or go to another kingdom. Maybe you can migrate if you before City Hall 16. Because I think one of the main things of Rise of Kingdoms is actually being able to play with people you get on with and your community. That's a great tip from me. I think it's one of the most important things is just to be in a kingdom that you're happy with. Secondly, when you're in your kingdom, the one you like, you need to be in one of the top alliances. And if you're not in one of the top alliances, you won't get as many rewards. You won't get daily gifts, obviously alliance chests, fort trophies, and all that. So this all benefits your account. Obviously, the more you can benefit your account, the better. You want to progress it as quickly as possible. Now, as I was saying about engineering commanders, you will only start to see these commanders appear after Season 3, probably early KVK 4, which is ages away. So what do you do in the meantime? Who do you use? What do you invest in? And all I can really suggest is you invest in epic commanders. Now, it's going to be an absolute struggle because you've got no engineering epic commanders yet. Yes, we're expecting some in the game at some point, but up till now, we don't have those. So you are going to have to focus on these infantry commanders like Sun Tzu, he's great. Your cavalry commanders like Belisarius. Obviously, you will have barbarian commanders, but you probably don't want to focus on those as much because you are going to want to progress these guys in the field. Herman, again, another decent commander on the field if you're going to run Archer as well. But I'd probably try and stick to like two decent sets of commanders. Maybe you could pair a Sun Tzu with a Scipio Africanus, or someone like Bjorn. Mrs. Siege used to swear by Herman and Boudica. He did alright for her in the early game, and you can make do to a certain stage. Now, as you may know, KVK 3 does become more difficult. You do have access to some of the SOC commanders. That's when it's going to really hurt. You're going to have to produce a decent amount of gear for these commanders. Now, don't produce legendary equipment if you're going to focus on siege in the later game. Obviously, you don't want to produce legendary equipment for infantry, cavalry, or archers because you can't dismantle them. I mean, you can, but you'll lose half your materials. I've had to do it, and it does hurt. My feelings, that is, nothing else. It just hurts. So try and avoid that if possible. You can obviously produce purple equipment and dismantle that whenever you want at no cost except gold. As we can see, there's very strong epic equipment that you can forge for these commanders. You will get a return. If you want to dismantle these epic equipment pieces, you'll get everything back, all your materials. Obviously, if you end up dismantling a legendary, you only get half back at the moment, unless they change that in the future, which would be fantastic, of course, but it's not looking likely. Now, another great tip is you're going to want to prepare for hard times to come in terms of progressing to T5 or really starting to fight on the field with your legendary marches and, yes, possibly T5 units. And obviously, with that, you are going to need resources. Now, I've got numerous farms that I can collect these resources from. You are going to need them, especially if you're free to play. If you're not free to play, yes, you can buy resources. There's always ways to get resources. Obviously, in Lilith's shop, amongst other ways. Obviously, you want to be completing quests and stuff daily. But as you can see, I have got a load of farms, and they keep me going through KVKs. Plenty of resources to acquire. Now, Lilith have just announced that they plan to update in the future about getting a certain amount of resources back for all the healing you've done in KVK. We don't know, obviously, amounts yet, we don't know percentages, but that is an absolutely great addition to the game. Now, another great addition, again, would be getting a certain amount of speed ups back. I'm not sure if they plan to do that also, but yeah, that would be really useful, and I'd be so on board with that. Now, once you've got your resources, you know what commanders you're going to invest in. Obviously, there's loads of videos and early game commanders, those epic commanders. You can just sort of get your way through the game till KVK 4. Once you've reached KVK 4, you'll be able to get your hands on commanders like Garjamara, Margaret, Baba, and Cordova. Now, Garjamara and Margaret come on certain events in the game. There's the Margaret Invictus event, and I can't remember the name of the Garjamara event. Yeah, see, he's an event commander. So you get hold of him in an event at KVK 4, at least you should do. I don't know if this varies from kingdom to kingdom, but as far as I'm aware from people in my siege group, that is when they're getting them. Obviously, it's been a hell of a long time since I've been playing early game Rise of Kingdom, ages since I played KVK 2, 3, and 4. A long, long time ago. So I'm not 100% sure of exact dates, exact times you'll get these commanders, but I do believe it's in KVK 4. So you want to be saving the heads for these commanders. My favourite pairing at the moment is Margaret paired with Cordova. Now, Cordova can be found on the Wheel of Fortune. So if you did want to save gems, you can invest into Gonzalo de Cordova, which will obviously reduce the amount of universals you have to put into this commander. Now, we also should be getting new ranged commanders in December, I'm hoping. We haven't announced it yet. I was kind of expecting an announcement soon, but it could come tomorrow, it could come in the next couple of weeks. We don't know what we're going to get yet for 100%, but it's likely to be siege commanders. At least I think so. So yes, you may want to invest in Margaret and Cordova, but there's going to be a big change when the new range commanders come, or at least I would have expected it to. You've got plenty of time, potentially, to have a think about that. Now, like I say, you may want to save up these gems to do events like Wheel of Fortune to acquire your commanders. I'd probably say it's better to spend your gems on VIP. You're going to want to reach at least VIP 10, which will give you one legendary sculpture a day. Now, this is absolutely major. Getting one sculpture a day, that's 30 or so a month if you're regularly logging in. But when you get to the VIP 12, you'll get two. And again, that is a massive, massive step. This is where I would be investing my gems into in the early game, banging them all into VIP, especially in the More Than Gems events, which you may be able to find out about. And if you do manage to make it to VIP 14, depending again what alliance you're in, you may get a lot of gold chests, lots of VIP points from those. You may be able to push to VIP 14, and that is absolutely game changing. Getting 3 commander sculptures a day, legendary commander sculptures, guys. You'll probably get 100 or so sculptures a month, so you can pretty much max 2 commanders a year just because you're VIP 14. So as a free to play, if you are a free to play, save up those gems, work hard to get those gems, and invest into VIP when you can. Now, let's go and take a look at equipment in terms of siege equipment. So you may want to start making a set of engineering equipment. Now, the Harvester set is actually very strong. You've got some great siege stats. But obviously, you're going to be better off with your epic equipment, your epic siege set. So we've got some epic siege equipment, which does provide sometimes some march speed on some of these pieces. And that is a massive bonus. You will get more stats as well, especially if you get the look of critting your piece of equipment. You will only unlock this equipment at a certain point in the game. So you're going to want to look out in the tavern here with an equipment chest. This is where you'll be able to pull out the equipment you want. Now, when you first start the game, you'll be able to look through this equipment and you'll notice that the siege equipment actually isn't available. It might be a good idea to start saving some crystal keys for when these become available. And then you've got a lot more chance of pulling these out of the chests and being able to invest in these pieces of equipment. Now, if you do get to VIP 12 or VIP 14 and you're still not at KVK 4, that's absolutely great. Save your gems and you'll be able to invest those gems into legendary equipment for your siege marches. You'll have to be competing in events like Hunt for History, so look out for that. But yes, you'll have to save some gems for that too. So hopefully you can get to VIP 14, like I say, and be able to save some gems up, take part in these events, which you'll acquire these hammers. You can also acquire these hammers from attacking barbarians, farming, and doing forts at the time of the event. These do stack. You can save up more hammers. So every time this event's on in the early game, save up your hammers. Don't use them, and you'll be able to save them up for unlocking legendary siege equipment later in the game when it becomes available. So keep a lookout for when it becomes available, obviously. So guys, it's really not going to be an easy journey becoming a siege main. It's probably one of the toughest. The equipment's harder to get hold of. The commanders are harder to get hold of, especially you can't get hold of them straight away. But if you're patient, take your time and do everything I've explained in this video, you should be able to become a great siege main. Or even if it's just 1 march or 2 marches you want to invest in ever in Siege, you can do that. And you can get some absolutely crazy reports. Obviously, this KVK already, I've been getting some massive reports. These are all from that so far, this recent KVK, just from my engineering commanders. I still just run 2 marches on the field, and I'm absolutely smashing KVKs, along with helping all your allies and your kingdom on the field. You may want to let your kings know, your R4s, your R5s, let them know what your plan is in the future. They may let you off just not being able to get maybe enough kills in the first couple of KVKs, because it will be hard with just using epic commanders. Obviously, that is if you are free to play. Now, if you are going to be a spender, yes, you'll benefit a lot more. I would definitely recommend investing in Minamoto. You don't have to spend gold sculptures on this, so you won't use your universal sculptures upgrading Minamoto, but it will cost you money. It costs you about $200 to fully expertise him. But if you're going to spend on the game, get him expertise as soon as possible, and in KVK 1, 2, and 3, he'll be very usable on the field with another cavalry commander. Again, if you are going to get MG spots in your kingdom, you may be able to pick up a commander like Saladin, and run him at maybe 5-5-1-1. You could do that with Minamoto just fine. If you go to 5-5-5-1, even better, of course. But be very smart. Try not to use Universal Sculptures if you can help it. Obviously, you want to still be able to enjoy the game. I know that's very hard if you're not investing. You're not chucking loads of materials and sculptures and stars at commanders in the early game. But believe me, I made massive mistakes in the early game, investing in such commanders, maxing them out when I should have been saving heads and not wasting them. Now I regret investing in many commanders, and you can't go back from there. I invested in commanders like Richard, YSG, Alex, even Charles Martel used some legendary sculptures, which, yeah, is kind of not a smart move. So guys, I hope you found that useful. If you've got any other questions, don't forget to hit me up in the comments section. If you found this video useful, I always appreciate your comments, guys. Keep them coming. Throw a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Mr. Siege, and bye-bye.